today out there?
There's a fair few actually, to be honest. There's a few of the usual ones I think that everyone expects to play well. I thought LDU was really good. George Wardlaw I thought was quite good today. Harry Sheasel. But probably the one that stood out to me from probably going a little unheralded this pre-season was Charlie Lazaro. I thought he was quite good. Hasn't had a lot of opportunity over the last couple of years, been in and out a little bit, but his pre-season this year has been excellent. And, he seems to have, at the moment, nailed down a role in the midfield and keeps getting better each week. So for me, he was probably the standout performer.
How are you going to fit them all in? You've got quite a few gun midfielders there, as you say.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. It's probably a problem we haven't had in the past. So you probably would have seen today that guys like McKercher and Sheasel will probably come off half back a little bit more, and Will Phillips spent a half in the yellow team and a half in the blue. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a balancing act, but it's a much better problem to have than we probably have had in the past few years.
What look does Charlie? What different look does he give you when he's running through the midfield?
He's got a really big engine, which helps. He's got a really good ability to get out into space. We've probably got some real good ball hunters in George Wardlaw and LDU and guys like that, but he gives you that outside balance that we probably have lacked over the last couple of years. And then when he does get out the front of stoppages, he's a really good ball user, really good decision maker. Combined with a little bit of speed as well, that probably just gives us a better mix than what we've had in the last couple of years.
We got a taste of George Wardlaw last year and what he can bring, but with a relatively clean run at it. How good can he be?
Yeah. His upside's obviously enormous. From everyone's seen it from last year, and the great thing about George is he's had a full pre-season. His hamstrings are really, have coped with the load really well. The strength and conditioning team's done a great job to get him through to this point of the year, and it's just fingers crossed he can get an extended run at it. And I think instead of seeing just that little sneak peek we got last year, you'll start to hopefully see some real consistency in his game, because as you can see out there today, when he is near the football, something good normally happens.
It's pretty hard to bring down in a tackle, isn't it? Is that one of the strengths that
Yeah, for a kid that age, only 19 years old, his power and his ability to stay on his feet is pretty uncanny. Combine that with LDU, they're very similar in the way they go about it, but it gives us a real strength through that midfield to be able to hold their feet and dish the ball out on their own terms.
What do you make of McKercher today? It's quite impressive.
Yeah, Kirch's another one of those guys that he's probably brings a different dynamic to our back half. Sheasel was probably left to do a fair bit of the load last year in terms of ball use out of that back half, but as you can see when Kirch gets the ball, he wants to run and carry and penetrate the game, and his consistency of just being able to get the ball and continue to break lines. He's really comfortable with ball in hand, and if Shees was having a quiet game, he seems to step up and be able to take on that role as well. So hopefully you would have seen today with the score that we put up, the pretty big numbers. There's going to be a little bit more probably pace and speed off half back and some ball use with those two guys back there.
for a draftee, McKercher doesn't look like someone who's just come into the system. Today, he's played like a guy who's pretty confident to run with the ball and hold the ball for a while as well.
Yeah. From day one, he's came in. He clearly was drafted as a midfielder. Reminds me a heap of Sheasel. When Sheasel came in last year, they've got that ability to hold on to the ball, make really good decisions. The game looks a little bit slower when they get the ball in their hands. They play the game a bit differently. Sheasel's obviously a little bit more classier, slowed down the game, where Kirch wants to run at the game 100 miles an hour, but they both have elite ball use and elite decision making. So to have them both off half back, it's going to be really exciting for us.
Luke McDonald didn't play today. They've got a few guys that didn't play. Is Luke expected to be ready for Collingwood next week or the official practice match before round one?
Yeah, I think at the moment, the build-up, we probably had around 10 guys that didn't play full games today. So about 4 or 5 of those guys that played managed minutes. So there'd be a few more. I'm not sure if Luke's in that group, but by the time we get to the St Kilda practice match, touch wood, if nothing goes wrong, we should have around 40 guys ready to play. So they're in a bit of a conditioning phase now to get their loads up after missing a fair bit of pre-season. So Luke will be in that group and be pushing for next week. I'm not sure if it's next week or the St Kilda game, but fingers crossed if all goes well, we'll have a pretty strong squad going into round one to pick from.
Zach Bishop, do you know how far away he is?
He'll be in that similar lot. I've got a feeling he might be a little bit ahead of Luke, and maybe next week for some limited minutes, but if not, definitely St Kilda game as well.
You mentioned the comparison there between Sheasel and McKercher coming in with Colby's first year. Do you see could he have the same impact as Harry had, considering she's a rising star?
Yeah, if he can have half the impact that Sheasel has, he's going to have a pretty good year, I reckon. But he's got those capabilities for sure. Highly touted junior, obviously, picked 2 for us, has slotted in, hasn't missed a session, has been really impressive with the similar stuff we saw Sheasel, his professionalism, his mature head on his shoulders. I can't see any reason why he couldn't have a really strong impact for us this year.
What do you think of the key backs today? So obviously you're having to experiment with a few new faces there. Can you give us a bit of a rundown?
Yeah, we looked up at one stage there, I think, in the third quarter, and we had, I think, 7 games of experience in our back half, and that's what it's going to look like early on in the season. It's exciting for us to have a guy like Toby Pink, who's come out of the SANFL, where he's been a really strong player and played really well out there today. Biggie's getting more opportunity coming across from Richmond, and we're not sure what that mix is going to look like come round 1, but the guy that's really impressed me down there is going into his 3rd year is Cal Dawson. There's a mid-season pick from a couple of years ago. He's had really strong pre-seasons under his belt now, injury-free. So I'd suggest that he's probably going to be there round 1, and it's just a matter of who we pair with him to go. But we're not looking for those 6 guys back there to have to defend by themselves. We need to get a stronger defensive system in place, which we've been training all pre-season, and hopefully that'll allow those guys to flourish in those positions back there.
I've seen Charlie Condon settle down back. He did a couple of nice things out there today.
Yeah.
A nice one-down tackle.
Yeah, we're seeing some glimpses of Charlie at the moment. This is only his 2nd match practice of the year. He's had a bit of an interrupted year, still coming back off that really bad broken leg. So I think he looks really comfortable there. He marks the ball really well overhead, makes good decisions with ball in hand. Hopefully he'll be ready for a full game next week, and give him the best opportunity to play round 1. But he's going to be in that mix as well. And he's that big, strong body that can play on the big guys, but also come off and intercept. And he's been impressive in the 2 trials so far.
Can Dylan Stevens have a pretty big impact for you this year on the wing?
I think he can. Yeah, he what we've probably lacked over the last few years is some real running power, and he brings that elite running power. He's top 2 in our 2 kilometre time trial. Genuine wingman, which we probably haven't had in the past. We've probably been using a little bit of probably half forwards, half backs to fill those roles, but he genuinely plays that wing role really well, and has come from obviously a really successful club, and has fitted in really well, and was pretty good again today.
The uncertainty around some of your tall players, is that kind of why you sort of shuffled a lot of your key positions during the day and in and out of the senior side as well?
Yeah, I think we're just trying to find out what our best mix looks like. That combined with Charlie Combin was only on limited game time today. We want to have a look at. We've got 3 or 4 of those talls that are probably in pretty good form from an internal point of view, but we need to start looking at what the mix looks like to best, and then that's probably going to change depending on Oppo throughout the year as well. We've got players like Josh Goder and Luke McDonald who can play tall and small, so do we need to play the 3 talls? Probably not every week, and that'll probably start to become a little bit clearer once we start playing opposition in the next week or 2.
I think you've got 1 list spot remaining in the SPP period closes today. Was there anyone today that put their hand up?
It's close today, does it?
I think so.
Yeah, right, okay. We've got our VFL program's in a really good place at the moment. Tommy Lynch's done a great job getting those guys there. I don't sit on those meetings, so I'm not 100% sure. Guys like Ty Sellers has been fantastic over the last couple of years at this footy club. Whether they're looking to fill that spot, I'm not 100% sure, or whether they'll wait until the mid-season for that. But someone like him, Ben Davis was out there today. We've got a real healthy relationship with our VFL program, where we've got, if we were to use that spot, there'd be 5 or 6 guys who'd be really comfortable if they got on our list that they'd be able to play a role. So whether that's now, mid-season, or in years to come, hopefully we can start to bring a few of our VFL guys onto our AFL list.
Lee, what update can you give us about Terran Thomas at this stage?
Not much, to be completely honest with you. It's an AFL. They're sorting it out at the moment. We're basically just waiting to hear what they decide to come back with, and then from there, people like Todd Viney and Jen Watt will decide what happens going forward. But right now at this stage, he's training away from the footy club with a few of our coaches and keeping himself fit and healthy for whenever he may get the opportunity to come back. But until we hear from the AFL and then hear from the people above, there's not a lot I give you.
Yep. How keen are you to get some word from someone about where you go from here?
Yeah, I'll look at the moment. We're just basically just worrying about the blokes that we've got on our list here, and at the moment he's on our list, but not here. So until that happens, we just keep marching forward and investing in the 40 guys we've got at this footy club that can help us win round one, and hopefully Taz is back at some stage. But until then, we'll just focus on those guys.